All right, y'all. What's up? What's up? Welcome back to your favorite WMMA podcast. It's hashtag CB99 Talks, episode 203. 203, y'all. What's going on? Back again with another one, y'all, on a Monday, on a chill Monday, or on a rainy Monday out my way. But I hope everybody's doing all right. Hope everybody's doing well. Had a pretty decent weekend, when it come down to just some discussion and some fights overall. But overall, I know some people are a little disappointed about this situation, right? Some people are still a little disappointed, right? But yeah, that's why we're here. We're going to talk a little bit. Had a good showing this weekend from a couple of flyweights, right? So we got to talk, man. We got to talk because there's going to be some problems here. There's going to be some problems, in these divisions, and they're on the come up. We got to talk about this Dakota Samiko fight, Dakota in general, as far as re-signing to the PFL. Carli Judice, I'm keeping my eye on her, man. I'm keeping an eye on Carli Judice right now. This girl, she's making a little statement right now. You can't deny it. Got to look at it. And I want to talk about Fatima Klein a little bit. I don't think I really talked about her after her win last weekend. I'm not sure if I did. Did I? I was kind of busy, so I can't really remember right now. Like sometimes lives and shows kind of run together. They kind of run together sometimes because I remember doing a prediction or giving my prediction as far as Fatima Klein winning her fight, but I don't think I really got a chance to talk about her performance or just how good she is, right? But Instagram, Instagram the other day, Natalia Silva, she put it on. She put it out there. She put it out there again. She put it on notice that she wants to fight Valentina, and she was calling Valentina out for not knowing who she was that time on the Contender Series. Of course, Alexa Grasso, Alexa Grasso watches fights. She watches the division like that. So she acknowledged all of the fighters in the division, but Valentina was like she didn't know Natalia Silva as far as her fight. So Natalia Silva put that up on Instagram, which I'll play here because I don't know if y'all missed it. I don't know if some of y'all missed it, but it was kind of funny. It was kind of funny, but you got to be careful calling out the champion, right? Just be ready. Just be ready. But yeah, man, Dakota and Samiko, man, shout out to a lot of people that was coming through though, man. And a lot of people came through in the live. I was like, you know what? Dakota Dakota does have a big following. I don't know, man. Like, it seemed like her following might match Whaley or Valentina. Cause shout out to a lot of y'all that was coming through during my live commentary. I know most of y'all were watching the fight or wanting to watch the fight, but there was a lot of people that still just stuck through to listen to the live round by round, which I appreciate. Of course, some people always like, "Oh, this ain't the fight. This ain't the fight." But I'm like, of course it ain't the fight. This is YouTube. We can't post the fight on YouTube. That's why I try to tell people, you can't post an actual fight on YouTube. Um, I can just call it. I get down here, maybe I jump on camera sometime, but that's all we can do is we're calling it for y'all people that can't see the fight, so don't be ungrateful. I can see the fight, so I found a way to see the fight. I'm sure y'all can find a way. And if you can't, don't complain. That's why I'm like, every time people go to YouTube, they're like, I can't find a fight. Well, YouTube is not ESPN. Like, you can't broadcast fights on YouTube. Like, when are people gonna learn? People are still not gonna learn. Like, you're not gonna find the whole fight. Every now and then you'll find the whole fight, but you are not gonna find the whole live fight. Like, if PFL is live or if UFC 318 is live, you are not going to see the fight live on YouTube. You are not going to see it. So if somebody's on here calling it and they're doing a live companion, just keep your mouth shut. Be grateful that you can actually see it, which some people are. Some people are, that's what I'm saying. Like some people just want to hear it, and that's all you're going to get because we can't show it up here. We ain't trying to get copyright strikes. So hey, just appreciate it. There were a lot of people appreciate, like I said, though. Had a lot of people come through for Dakota's fight, though. I was like, wow, that's more than like Valentina or Wei Lee. That's why I was like, man, like Dakota, she does have a following though. So shout out to the new people coming through. I appreciate that. A lot of new people subscribing too. So I guess WMMA fans are out there. Just gotta find them, right? So if you are new, welcome. And if you like watching WMMA, I mean, hey, I don't blame you. We all do right here, right? Everybody in this chat. So let's see. What's up, Airmite and Axel? Two Beasts. Two Beasts said, "What's up with the graphic at the bottom right? What graphic?" Oh, Tay Tay, what's up? Tay Tay said, "The Great King, what's up?" He said, "Yeah, Dakota's a beast." Yeah, we always put we always put no fight footage. It don't matter if you put no fight footage or not, Two Beats. I've been putting that for years. I've been putting that since I started this channel. I just stopped after a while. I mean, look at my videos. I always put no fight footage on there, whether it's a post fight or what. And they still don't listen. They're like, "Where's the fight?" So just as they don't look, they're not gonna listen. Or vice versa. I've been doing that for years. Shout out to Coach. He been doing that for years. I remember Coach been doing that. No fight footage. People still won't listen. What's going on, Stamina? That's the thing, man. Like, and I don't care. I mean, like I said, I don't care. Like, you stick around, you might learn something. That's the one thing I'll always say. Stick around, and you will learn something. You might learn something. You will learn something, right? But yeah, Dakota, Samiko, outside of yeah. I know. Look, Samiko did last. She did last. She was able to go a solid 3 rounds, but I don't really believe in like moral victories in any combat sport. I mean, you're really not doing yourself justice by taking a beating. I mean, yeah, I can say, "Ooh, wow, yeah, that girl's got a chin." In certain situations, every now and then, you'll be like, "Oh man," like you see two fighters going at it, and they're going. I mean, they're going toe to toe, and they are dropping bombs. But that's only whenever the exchange gets rough every now and then. But when you just see somebody in there that has just a nonstop game plan of just taking beatings, I'm like, come on, like how many of y'all like? Because I always see like the average MMA fan or average boxing fan, they love when somebody shows they have a good chin. But how many of y'all do y'all really give props to a good chin when it's just like shown in the fashion like Samiko does? Like, can you really give it props like that? Because after a while, you're like, okay, yeah, you can take a punch, but what other technique will you show? Well, chin ain't really a technique. That's just like a natural ability, right? You being able to absorb punches might just be the way your skull is, I mean, your heart and your skull. You probably got that extra thick layer of the liquid, like, yeah, like Homer. If you ever seen that episode of Simpsons where, Homer, he could just take a punch over and over. My dad, he used to love that episode because, he's was a boxing fan. We used to watch that and we used to just laugh at it because, Homer would just stand there and constantly take punches. And that's kind of what Samika was doing. I mean, she was coming forward, but after a while, when you take that many punches, it's like, all right, so now that we know you can take her punishment, what else do you got for us? What else do you got for us? Like, what else you going to do? What else are you going to show us? Like, can you go in there and trip this girl up and get her to the ground? Like, can you get dirty? Like, can you put your forearm in her neck and frame her up and land some elbows? Like, can you cut her? Score something. Cut her open or do something to Dakota to get her respect. I ain't see none of that. I ain't see none of that. I just saw Samiko going in there to get a moral victory, and maybe her game plan was to fight, but it's just weird because sometimes you see fighters when they go into a fight like this and they take a punch, they they either go into respect mode. They either get intimidated and their plan goes out the window, and then they just stop attacking. But Samika was doing the opposite. She was coming forward. She was actually coming forward. So I was like, man, like, is there going to be a point where she does something to kind of threaten Dakota? Dakota was just having her way, like whether it was outside or inside. And I thought after a while, that's what Dakota's main game plan was just to kind of shake the rust off, which she was doing. I didn't really see anything of significance coming from Samiko's side. And, that's just one of those things, man. Like, I was watching a lot of, got a chance to see Samika's fights on YouTube, and I watched them from the jump, and that was my thing from the very beginning when this fight was announced. Is like, all right, I know she's tough, I know she has that skill set, and that offensive striking skill set, but I think that plays right into Dakota's hands. That's why I was just, I don't see her winning this fight. Yeah, granted, she didn't get stopped. Granted, she didn't get knocked out. Granted, her chin was like granite. But I couldn't pick her in this fight because it was either going to be a stoppage or it was going to be one-sided like this, because her style is pure offense where, she's just going to fire off bullets. She's not really going to use too much footwork or angles or counters or anything like that. She's just going to want to go in there and try to take the fight to Dakota. And the other things that she was just lacking was size and strength. The good big fighter is always going to beat the good big fighter is always going to beat the good little fighter. That's how it goes. And yeah, they're in the same weight class, but Samika's frame and her size, I mean, 5'4", what was like a 4-inch reach difference here, 4 or 5-inch reach difference. None of that was going to play into the favor of Samika whenever you're dealing with a fighter that knows how to use everything, right? I mean, Dakota, I got to give her credit. She knows how to use everything she has as far as fighting big, right? To be big for nothing. Big for nothing. Can't be big for nothing. Oh, To be said, you answered my question. Oh, yeah, the Val thing. Yeah, okay. Dakota's knees and elbows. Oh, Dakota's knees and elbows are a death sentence. Tay said, yeah. Oh, yeah, appreciate it, Tay. He said, you're a real one. Drop that great knowledge. I think. Thanks. Appreciate that. Axel said, I prefer someone show me good defensive boxing skills than a good chin. Yeah, I'm the same way. I mean, I like when a fighter is able to take a punch, like if they get caught and they can recover. But don't just go in there with a game plan to run into punches, because eventually, you're going to get worn down and you're going to get tired. I mean, this fight here, Samiko, she never went down, right? She never went down, but overall, she just didn't have like a game plan outside of, being able to say, hey, I can take your punch. The only damage she caused apparently was breaking Dakota's hand, right? And how did she do that? I mean, by using her chin. So that's not really a plus. What's up, Mark Sanchez? Mark Sanchez says the corner should have pulled her after the second. Samiko certainly raised her profile globally. Now try to improve her game. Yeah, I think it should have been stopped at 4 before the third round. Like if they wanted to end it at the end of the second when, she took a seat and corner asked her, do you want to continue or, have the doctor look at her, just go ahead and say, nah, like you ain't doing enough. You ain't doing enough. We got to get you out of there. But yeah, she does need to improve. At 34 years old, I do want to see her put a little bit more into her game, defense, maybe more groundwork, because I just think a lot of that stuff was lacking. But again, like I said, when you're just dealing with somebody that's big, strong, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard, you know. Axel said the worst is the corner of Samika was her husband. Oh wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know that her husband was in the corner. Maybe I did. Maybe I did in the past, but I didn't know he was there uh, Saturday night. Yeah, because I mean, I seen some fighters, where their corners, they'd be like, man, I'm stopping this. If you're dealing with like a father son. Matter of fact, if you were following boxing this weekend, Tim Tszyu and Sebastian Fundora, Kostya Tszyu's son, they had to watch their corner had to watch, his son get pummeled this past Saturday. Tim Tszyu, he just said, hey, I'm done. I'm surprised his father didn't throw the towel in earlier, maybe like in the third or fourth round, because he was getting beat. But after the sixth round, he was like, hey, I'm done. I'm done. Marcus, what's going on, man? Gary says Samika was never that good, in my opinion. What's her best win? Her best win, let me see. As far as prospects, she did beat Mac Judo, who's Mackenzie Stiller, who's still on the come up. What's that one girl's name that she beat? She has a lot of finishes, but yeah, she doesn't really have any like big names. So, I mean, yeah, like I don't think anybody really went in this fight saying she was like this big name anyway, or saying she had this great resume. She's got experience, yeah, of course, but no, like, I mean, she's a decent fighter, but that just shows you Dakota's skill set too. That just shows you Dakota's skill set, because nobody's really able to just control Samika in the past like Dakota has. So that was still a win for Dakota, to be said. But then you have situations where the cornerman will be fired by the fighter. So I kind of understood the hesitancy in corners to stop fights. Yeah, that's been a situation in the past. But my thing is, I'd rather get fired than have somebody's death on my hands, or somebody's like, coma on my hands. I don't care. Like, even like that Deontay Wilder fight where he got rid of Mark Breland, I would have did the same thing, because I'd be like, you getting your butt whooped. I was like, and you're not dying on my clock. We stopping this fight. I'd rather stop a fight and have you cuss me out and be like, all right, so what? I don't have to corner you anymore. I'd rather do that. That's what I'm saying with her. I wouldn't even think about it. I'd be like, hey, stop the fight. You can get mad at me all you want, but hey, I'll just keep playing these clips back over and over. You know what I mean? I'm gonna keep playing the clip back over and over. Like, what did you do in there to show me that you was in the fight, besides having a good chin? Dave said, I'm thinking that Samika was being paid by how long she survived against Dakota. That's the only reason her husband didn't call the fight. Yeah, I've seen that in boxing. I mean, we seen that in boxing in the past, where they'll say, hey, give me at least 2 or 3 good rounds. And I don't know, that could be a possibility. They might say, hey, Dakota needs to shake off her cage rust. We need you to stay in there at least 3 good rounds, right? I don't know. Could be a possibility, yeah. They do that stuff in boxing. You say, give my fighter 4 good rounds before you lay down. Aaron might say, word on the street is that Samiko's orbital bone and cheekbone are broken. It could be, because if you take a look right here, I mean, look at her face right here. That definitely doesn't look like somebody walking away with just a little boo-boo, or even just a little mouse under her eye, right? That does look like a broken cheekbone. And she got kind of high cheekbones anyway, so somebody with defined cheekbones, kind of high cheekbones up there, all it takes is one good crack and that thing is going to be on swole, So Amanda Ebos, I remember Amanda Ebos said when she was in that Macy Barber fight, was it her corner? I think it was her father, said whenever Macy Barber hit her with that elbow, they could hear the break. So those things are nasty. And you look at hers, taking that right hand over and over. I mean, yeah, I could definitely see that happening, and we all know what that means, man. Like, it's best to get the surgery. Go ahead and get the surgery, and then take the time to recover, because if not, that thing's always going to be tender, and you're always going to be in a situation where that thing can fracture easy again. Because I don't think Tyler Santos got hers repaired. I don't think she had hers reconstructed. I think they kind of skipped out on it, and I think that's why she still suffers some, CTE from that, and maybe just makes her a little punch shy in there, gun shy. But yeah, I hope that she sits back and just lets the, let the process of healing take place. Go maybe get it fixed surgically, and then just rest. They're going to take at least like a year and a half. I know some fighters come back after 9, 8 months and they're still in pain, too tender. Yeah. So I think that, yeah, maybe it was a situation too. Looking on Dakota's side, well, first off, yeah, for Samiko, I think that she's definitely got to go back to the drawing board, man. Like, but that's the thing. Like, you've seen her do other things in the past, like against lesser opponents, right? You've seen her try different things. You've seen her work. But that just shows you like the next level of Dakota, right? That just shows you how good she is, how, she was able to land a few shots, landed a few angles that Samiko didn't expect. And then Samiko just, in a way, kind of faltered, because her game plan was just to kind of hold. And when she held, she was trying to throw them little body shots, but it was like she didn't have a game plan after that, because she kind of not only tasted the power, but she kind of tasted the technique and just like the seriousness of how Dakota is when she's in there controlling you. Because honestly, like her biggest test, and it wasn't a win, was Denise Kielholtz. And she had some good moments in that fight, because, in that fight, I think Denise Kielholtz fought more at a range. But here, Dakota chose to fight a lot on the inside. See, Dakota had more, not Dakota, but Denise Kielholtz gave her more of a chance by fighting at a range. She was killing her with them calf kicks, though. But Samiko had a chance to establish a jab when she was dealing with that type of fighter. But when you're dealing with somebody long that's going to jab right back and throw long, it was kind of like, all right, what's the game plan? Then she felt the strength too. So I think Samiko felt the number of things. I think 10 times out of 10, man, she would always lose to Dakota at this point. I think it's just levels, man. And I know that kind of upset people when Dakota went into this fight, in her interview, when she said, I'm confident I'm gonna beat her because I'm better. She was like, there's levels above it. And that was one reason why I had to just be honest this time and say, hey man, y'all think when it comes to levels and style, she had this one in the bag. She had this one in the bag. But yeah, I just can't really give no moral victory on this one, because there was no threat. I mean, the only threat was Samiko getting put into a coma, man, or maybe even getting herself killed. Right? So had she been in there, had she maybe flash knocked down or dropped Dakota a couple of times, had this fight been 1-1, had this fight had a few takedown scares where Samiko got her back, then I'd be like, oh yeah. But this was not that. This wasn't any of that. It was just 3 rounds of baking bread in there. I mean, Dakota was turning her face into cookie dough, man. I mean, look at it. Look like some, Pillsbury cookie dough. The way she was just, molding her face in there. And I'm not being funny. I'm just saying that's what it looked like. That's what we call it sometimes. That's what we call it. You call it what you want, meatloaf or cookies, whatever. I mean, she was tenderizing her. Dave said I was hoping for a Chanel Dyer versus Dakota fight, not happening now. Me personally, well, for 2 things. Yeah, I mean, I know you probably know now, Dave, but Chanel Dyer is going to the Contender Series, but she's actually moving down to 115. And that was the one thing I was to say. I don't know if Chanel Dyer is that like full-fledged flyweight it might be good she's moving down to 115. But even then, like I think Dakota's a couple of levels ahead of her. Like Chanel Dyer, a good fighter, and she's on the come up. But I think that Dakota is like a few steps ahead of her, and I think that fight would be kind of rough. I think Dakota fights the finish, and I think she'll be a little too much for Chanel Dyer right now. Man, give Chanel maybe like let Chanel hit them double digits of fights and get some good names and maybe grow into 125, and then I think she'd be something. But I think Dakota's a little bit more established as a striker. Everybody says Chanel Dyer says she's fighting it strong. Yeah, yep, that's what I just said. And Inaba stamina said Inaba was second in strength, power, speed, technique, aggression, endurance, outclassed in dang near every aspect. Right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like I would say stamina every time they would fight. Every time they would fight, it would just go Dakota's way. And that's just how it is sometimes. That's just how it is. Some styles you can't beat. Sometimes some styles you just can't beat like that. Gary said, when does Casey O'Neill fight? She's becoming the next Tracy Cortez. Man, she got injury after injury, man. I don't know. Like, really? I think the last thing she said, she got fight news coming. But maybe she don't want to jinx herself right now. But she doesn't have anything solid. She had fight news a few months ago, right? And then injury came up. Now she got fight news again. So I'll just wait it out. Samiko is the real zombie of WMMA, not Akaya Miura anymore. Man, she better be careful. Robot said, salute on the live watch. Yeah, Robot. Yeah, that's what I said. Thanks for, I thank everybody for coming through just to hear the fight, because I was surprised that, a lot of people want to come through and see Dakota fight like that. Because I jump on for Valentina, jump on for Zhang Wei Li. We got some people coming through, But Dakota got a good little fan base. That's what I'm saying. Like, PFL has done some good things for her. And let's talk about that then. Let's talk about that. Dakota re-signed in the PFL. I see it as a gift and a curse. Well, I don't even see it I won't even say it like that. I see it as a plus and a minus. Because you see, man, like Dakota on her own, she seems to carry herself pretty well, not just in the cage, right? Not just in the cage, but as far as her brand and as far as her following, because it seems like a lot of people know Dakota, but not everybody knows. Let's see. Let's see. Pick a flyweight in the UFC. Just pick a flyweight. See, I know them all. That's why it's going to be hard for me to just name somebody. But it seems like there are a lot of people that know who Dakota is, and she's not even wearing the UFC brand yet. So the PFL has done all right by her. The PFL has done all right by her as far as building her brand and putting her name out there, because she is like the only face of I won't say she's like the only face, but yeah, she kind of is, right? Like, there's other women in WMMA, in PFL. There's other women in PFL, okay? There's other women in PFL, but the thing is, she's kind of like that face of PFL. So you see her all the time, and everybody likes her. How she fights. She's aesthetically pleasing. Then you got the men that just want to look at her. They always talk about how she look, which is all they care about. Not me. I want to see some fights. That's why I'm here. Just so y'all new people know, that's why I'm here. Ain't no simping going on over here. You tell them Stamina, look, since I've been doing this channel, we ain't simping, right? We just talking about the fight. That's why I'm hard on a lot of fighters. But Dakota, being with the PFL, we gotta admit that they've done right by her as far as putting her name out there and making her, like this. I'd say almost household name as far as the country. Axel said, Natalia Silva, to be said Aaron Blanchfield. All right, yeah, them are two names I wanted to say. But yeah, I do think that there's a lot of men, or even the basic fans, that you might go on YouTube or Instagram and you say Dakota, they might favor Dakota and recognize Dakota before they recognize Aaron and Natalia. And that definitely ain't a knock to them. I mean, just saying, like, it's how she's pushed. It's how she's recognized, because how they market her. The UFC, they market their fighters, they market the UFC as like as a whole, right? And I think Dakota doesn't want to fall into that. I think Dakota doesn't want to fall into that roster and get lost. Like, when they've been treating you so high, like royalty, for a long time, it's hard to get away from that. I understand, man. I really do understand. Not to be. BJ said that's crazy. What's crazy? I'm just saying, like, that's the thing. Like, she's been there for so long that it's really hard for her to let that go. And then when they throw numbers at you, you're probably like, oh, okay, I like that. I like what I'm seeing. So I get it. I do get it. And again, you can still enjoy watching her fight, which is what I think a lot of people do. I think some people are more content just seeing her and not. Well, people do want to see her in the UFC. BJ said how Dakota would be recognized over Natalia. It is crazy. It is crazy. Like, I recognize Natalia as legit, but you go to Dakota's country, or you go around the way, you go on YouTube, I mean, it's in the views. It's in the views, right? I could do a Natalia Silva versus Jessica Andrade fight. Not as many people gonna watch, but as soon as Dakota comes on, everybody want to see her fight. Yeah, Gabriella said there's a viral video on Dakota on YouTube. Lots of people become fans because of that video. That's all it takes. Yeah, that's all it takes. Like, a couple of videos, of people, of certain fighters that they think they can relate to, or the women can relate to. Then the men, they just want to drool over. And then there's fight fans. Then there's real fight fans too that like her style. So she doesn't necessarily. I know people gonna get mad here again, but she don't necessarily need to be in the UFC to be a star, right? Y'all know that's true. Y'all know that is true. Yeah, I'm thinking of another video now. Y'all know that is true. Like, she doesn't need the UFC to be a star right now, because they're already paying her more than any WMMA fighter. Probably, maybe somewhere along the lines of close to what Valentina and them is getting, but she's making more than like the top 15 roster, right? So, being in the UFC is just going to be more of a name for her right now, as far as, financial wise and recognition wise and marketing wise. But when it comes to competition wise, that's the big part. That's what the hardcore fan wants. And I do want to see that too. But until then, she re-signed a multi-year contract. That's what I was waiting on before I talked about that, because hold on. It said multi-year contract, so we already know multi-year means more than 1 year. So I just don't know the number. Because at first I thought it was going to be like a maybe fight by, was it a couple of fights contract, maybe like 2 or 3 fight contract. Like some people in the UFC got, like, I think it was that Holly Holm had like an 8 fight contract where she fights 8 times and boom, she done. But apparently Dakota signed hers by the year. So she's going to be with them for another year, right? So with her being there another couple years or so, her being there a few more years, we already count the UFC out. So I think that whatever they presented her looked much better than anything she probably thought the UFC could give her. And she wants to get that for as long as she can. Maybe try to ride it out like Kayla did. Like, how long did Kayla stay in the UFC, in the PFL before she went to the UFC? Let me look at her resume. I mean, she spent her whole career there, right? Kayla Harrison was, all her fights were in the PFL, right? Kayla went into the PFL back in 2019. Yeah, she made her debut, of course, in the PFL 2018. 2018, and then she bounced in 2023. She ended her career beating Aspen Ladd. So she did like a full 5 years, almost like a full 5 years. Kayla did like a full 5 years in the PFL, which isn't bad when you consider that, her starting her career off early and debuting in the PFL, right? So let me see. Dakota is and Dakota's younger too, so don't expect Dakota to make some crazy drastic decisions too. So wait a minute, let me see. Let me ask y'all this while I'm looking this stuff up. Does it bother you? This goes to the fans of Dakota. Like, if there's any like hardcore Dakota fans, does it bother you that she's not signed to the UFC? Does that affect how you view her fights now, or like her resume? And I'm just saying, like, Dakota fans, like, MMA fan is different than a specific fighter fan. Now, I'm talking to the specific Dakota fans. Now, does it bother you that she hasn't signed to the UFC and she didn't want to sign yet? Dave said Dakota is an elite striker, fun to watch, and looks phenomenal poolside. Yeah, she's an elite striker and she's fun to watch. Definitely, I enjoy watching her fight. Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you just want to turn a fight on, like, that's how I am with boxing. If there's a good fight, I just want to turn it on. I know it's a fighter that likes to knock people out. Yeah, like I like watching this guy, Sebastian Fondor, this past weekend. That guy, he be knocking people out. I mean, he be beating them down. Let me see. Okay, so Dakota did fight in the PAWFC once. That organization hasn't really put up too many more fights, but all right. Dakota made her debut in 2021. So Dakota's been in the cage now for what, 4 years? 2021 of September. Coming up this September will be 4 years. So Kayla spent 5 years in the PFL before she came to the UFC, right? So don't be surprised if Dakota spends another 2 or 3 years out, because number one, she's younger than Kayla. Number two, the PFL is moving her right financially. So her being younger, she might stick around with the PFL for a while. She might stick around with them for a while and just keep doing her thing and come into the UFC when she sees fit. So yeah, like I said, 25 years old, she gonna keep doing this thing. 26 years old. Let me see. What's 26? What day is the 25th? 4 days away. Oh, she'll be 27. 27 in 4 days. Dakota will be 27 in 4 days, right? So yeah, 27 years old, hasn't really like hit a prime yet. Still growing, but already looks dangerous. And only 4 years out, like, she could just keep going like a couple more years for this experience thing, and then, hang on to that, then come into the UFC a little bit later. But that's the thing, man. Like, we don't know if some of these other fighters will be around. We'll see some of them fighters, BJ said, truly one of the top flyweights in the world, period. Truly one of the top flyweights in the world, period. Who's that? Who, Dakota? Everybody said, I just hope Dakota doesn't get injury prone or too complacent. She's turning 27 in a few days. Yeah. Oh, B said read my comment before that. Hold on. Okay. Don't ever question Erin Blanchfield. She stares the best WMMA fighters in the world down. Yeah, I mean, Aaron's already there. Aaron's already proven. Like, Aaron's already on the mission. Aaron's already faced defeat. She's faced the wins. She's beat so many girls. That's why I've been riding out on Aaron, man. I've been rocking with Aaron. Like, she's already here. Like, Aaron's proven, and she's got her place in the flyweight division right now. So there's questions, of course. Like, we always gonna say, okay, what does she need to do to fight Valentina? But that's the thing. Like, she's next to Valentina. She's next to Manon. She's next to Natalia. So we can talk about how well she would do and what she would need to change. And is she working on it? Pretty confident she is working on it because she's right there. But when you're talking about somebody that's outside of the UFC, granted, they look good. Again, they look good, but when you want to match them up level to level, it's a different thing, right? You gotta be next to those fighters sometimes to really stay up to speed, right? That's just how I see it sometimes. Like, when Alexa Grasso moved up to 125, she had something to shoot for because she was there. But that's why I say I hope Dakota not being in the UFC makes her, like Aaron might say, complacent. I don't want it to make her complacent where she's not improving in the right ways. You know what I mean? Like, when you are that's the thing. When you are in the UFC, it forces you to get better, right? So that's kind of like the minus to me. Like, I think that forces you to get better, and because it tests you. It tests you, right? When you're knocking everybody out in the first round, you're not really getting tested. I love to watch it. No, for me, selfishly, being selfish, I like to see those because they keep coming. But if your goal is to be a champion against Valentina or beat Valentina, you have to be tested. You have to be tested. Okay, Stamina said, I'm personally saddened Dakota stays at PFL, but securing her future over securing a place in history can't really be framed as a wrong choice. I get it. Yeah, I get it all day, man. Like, I get it. I get it. Like, I won't be mad. I'll just be like, oh, man. Well, let me go back to watching Manon, or let me go back to watching Valentina. I think Stamina, it really upsets the fans that want to see just her. But when I got other fighters to watch, man, it ain't hurting as much. You know what I mean? That's why I say I'm a fight fan first. I'm gonna make a shirt that says that, fight fan first. I care about the fighters' well-being. I care about the fighters' improvements. I care about the fighters' progression. I care about the fighters as a whole when it comes to watching them, not just one particular person. I think that kind of, everybody got their fan favorite. That's cool. Ain't nothing against that. But I'm just saying, over here, that's what I do. And it doesn't bother me as much. Like, it just always makes me scratch my head when people say, oh, she's the best in the world. But I'm like, how do we say she's the best in the world when you ain't tested? Dave said, in my opinion, she's staying for more experience. I don't think she's confident in her ground game. She has 23 rounds out of a possible 49 as a pro. Oh, that's a good point, man. Like, I kind of figured that too. Like, and that's where the Liz Carmouche fight comes in, Dave. Like, that's where that comes in, because really that's like her only hope as far as like a ground fight, because they're not really giving her too many ground fighters. Just like when Kayla was there, like, Kayla Harrison, she beat a lot of strikers. She beat a lot of girls that had no ground game, which worked in her favor. And it's kind of working in Dakota's favor because she hasn't really fought like any real girls with that motor in them. You know what I mean? Like, those girls that just keep coming, them girls that just keep coming and muscle you and maul you. Ain't really been no flyweights that fight big because they're not that big. Like, Liz would really be the only one right now, right? Liz Carmouche is that one. And I think that's why she re-signed for the deal, and that's all right with me. Like, I think I would feel a certain way if she didn't get at least that fight on her belt now, I definitely think that would be a good situation right now is to get the Liz fight, because I think that would be a main event. And if she got that fight under her belt, I know what that would mean, because she might go ahead and take that into a Valentina situation and be like, guess what? I knocked Liz out and you couldn't, Valentina. You know what I mean? It might be something like that where she going to get a couple of common opponents of Valentina. Like she stopped Tyler Santos, right? She stops Tyler Santos. And then what if she stops Liz Carmouche? I don't know if she will, but I'm just saying, like, what if she did, though? You know, what if she did stop her? Then that would be even like bigger to stop a veteran. I mean, Liz Carmouche been fighting since the day she was on the very first UFC fight, right? It was Liz Carmouche, right? Liz Carmouche, the very first fight with Ronda Rousey, right? So that would be something. That would be something for her to get that name. So I think that might be something she's shooting for. But yes, Chanel Dyer, I think, made the right decision to go to the Contender Series for now. Yeah, I remember Dave said earlier she'll be a beast at 115. I think so too. They need her. They need girls like her, Fatima Klein, and stuff like fighters like that. Paulina Venuska, we can't forget about her. I think that's a fight that should happen if Dakota and Paulina both go to the UFC one day. You know, I think I'll wait for that one, because I think Paulina Venuska, she's probably going to shoot for the UFC one day as well. So let her get her. Well, she's pretty well rounded to me. Let her get her overall game sharpened and get signed to the UFC, because I think that'll be something. With Paulina Venuska getting to the UFC, that would be something too. All right, so yeah, I'm not, like I said, I'm not really disappointed that Dakota's not going to be in the UFC right now, because BJ noticed too. Like, the flyweight division is still banging right now. The flyweight division is still banging right now, and Dakota is still delivering some good fights outside of the UFC, as far as like, well, I'll say entertaining finishes and just performances. And if she continues to shop around, or they bring her fighters that are also trying to get where she's getting, it'll still be interesting for her. I know there's the other flyweight I watch. I do want to see Cheyenne Bowers. Shay Bowers. You know, I want to see her signed to the UFC one day. You know, who knows? They could try to bring her over to the PFL. Who else? The wrestler, grappler that had won the LFA belt. Clark. Is it Clark? Yeah. So yeah, there's always something going on. And yeah, there's just a lot of good fights, period. You know, PFL ain't gonna let her go right now. They got to keep some eyes on them, man, because she's keeping the lights on right now. Gabriella said, lack of flyweight talent is small, and she might as well be fighting the same people just like Kayla did. And she's probably going to be doing that. Speaking of that, they got, what is her name? Juliana Velasquez and Shakalova fighting again. They got them fighting again next month. Why does PFL do that? That's the one thing I can't stand with the PFL, man. They keep making these same fights. Like, Juliana Velasquez and Liz Carmouche fought how many times? Like 3 times. Liz Carmouche fought Kana Watanabe like 2 times. Now Shakalova and Juliana Velasquez gonna fight again. I mean, if you want some get back or you want revenge, the PFL, they're gonna get you what you need. That's what I'm saying. Like, as many times as you get to have deja vu there, you better take advantage of it, man. You better change time. They give you that opportunity. I ain't gonna lie. Dave said if I was Conan, I would have Dakota train with Kayla until her next fight camp. They are training to get. They have trained together, right? I mean, they are right because I talked about that in a video like a couple months ago. Dakota was training with Kayla for the Pena fight. You know, they've been working on stand up games, so I'm sure if Dakota is helping Kayla with stand up, maybe the reverse should be happening there. Maybe Kayla's also paying the favor by rolling with Dakota a little bit. Everybody said Manoa's a complete fighter, but she's not really excelling somewhere in particular when matched against someone who excels in striking. Her defense holds show clearly with that head kick always landing. Yeah, I definitely think that Manon all around good. There's some things that she's going to need to do. I got a video coming about that. I just hadn't had a chance to put it out. I keep telling Axel that because he'd asked me. I just ain't had time, man. Like one time I recorded it, my mic was kind of messed up. I don't know. My mic is not messed up. Y'all hear me fine now, but it was acting up when I recorded it, and I didn't like how it sounded. It was in and out. You had that toilet bowl sound. Oh yeah. I know. Yeah, Montague. Yeah, Michelle Montague. He said, speaking of big blonde girls, big blonde fighters. Yeah, Michelle Montague signed to the UFC. She fighting Luana Carolina. Oh, Paul, what's going on? He said, did I miss the Ebos and Ricci talk? Nah. Like, we ain't even jump on that yet. Yeah, Robot said iron sharpens iron. Yeah. So I think overall, Dakota, she'll get there at some point. But at 27 and 27 and you're the face of PFL, don't expect the change to be so drastic. Don't expect it to just happen like that. It's not going to happen. Even with the lack of competition. Look, lack of competition or abundance of money. Lack of competition or the abundance of money. What you think she's going to choose? What do you think she's going to choose? I mean, what would y'all choose? Like a low pay, getting ran through the meat grinder, or being the face of a whole organization and a lot of money? That on the outside looking in, it definitely looks pretty airtight, right, on what it should be. Especially whenever people aren't taking care of you, right? The fans aren't taking care of you. You're taking care of yourself. Oh, let me go back over here. 2B said, for me, it comes down to how excited I'm going to be for the WMMA fight, not if I'm going to watch it, because I'm definitely watching because I'm a fight fan first. Right. Dave said, I think the Liz fight is next. Liz will beat Bishop. Yeah, Liz is a very well-rounded fighter at this point. She seems pretty confident in what she's doing. Very confident. Dakota has better competition at ATT than she does in the PFL. Yeah, when I see that picture they always take on Instagram, they got a talent pool up in ATT. Everybody in that division could beat somebody even out of their weight class, right? Oh man. So maybe that should have her UFC ready. That should have her UFC ready. All right. So let's look at this flyweight. Let's look at the flyweight in the UFC. Carli Crispy, Cookie Crisp. I keep wanting to say Cinnamon Toast Crunch. And then I think, wait a minute. Captain Crunch. Then I think Honey Crisp. No, not Honey Crisp. Honey Bunches of Oats. No, Crispy. Yeah, Crispy. It made me think of all them cereals, man. I don't know why. Crispy, Judice. Crispy, man. Crispy for the win. No, I like Crispy, though, man. I like Crispy, man. She's got it, man. I like what she's doing. If you didn't hear my video, I had to break it down for you. I like what she's doing. And that ain't, look, I ain't overhyping. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing right now. And I like what I'm seeing in this young lady, man, because she's got some good hands and some good knees to the body, man. This girl don't play. And that's why I've been saying, man, like, I like a fighter that likes to stand her ground, but also stay out of range and sit down on her shots. She's got some authority on her shots, man. Like, these ain't little flicking punches she's throwing. She makes everything count. I liked how she kept range in this fight. When this girl tried to come running at her, she stepped back, reset, right back to the center. And that jab, man, the jab is on point. So I think what we're seeing from Crispy's got a little bit of that Rose footwork in there. It's definitely paying off. Like, I knew they were training together, but sometimes fighters, they still want to do their own thing, but maybe it's just like something that's rubbing off on her because she likes to strike. I think Crispy's got even like in her Contender Series fight and a few of her other fights, Crispy's always kind of had like that little swag about her. She has that little swag about her, how she likes to move. And I think now that she's putting the footwork together a little bit more, it's starting to really come together for her. And yeah, man, I didn't even know, man, like all her fights before the UFC, she finishing girls. She finished a lot of girls, man. I was like, oh, okay. I missed this part because I know she had finished like 2 fights I seen, but I went back and looked. I was like, okay, she head kick knockout, first round knockout. So this girl's got some power. And now she putting, that accuracy, that precision to it too. Woo. I was like, all right, now I see you. And this ain't, like I said, this ain't junk. She ain't throwing no junk away out there. Like, her punches are punches. I don't say, if I ain't seeing something that don't look good, I'm gonna tell you, I'll be like, them hands is all right. Them hands is okay. But these hands right here, matter of fact, did y'all see that? What was that one fight? Her Contender Series fight against Ernesta. I like Ernesta, but I think I'm seeing a little bit more development in Carli here, man. I think Crispy's got a little bit more. I see a little bit more development in her past couple of fights. Yeah, she missed out on her first fight against Gabby Fernandez. Hang on. See if I can find it. Let me pull her resume up here real quick. All right, Carli. What's dangerous about this young lady too is she is only 7 fights deep in her career and she's looking good like this, right? That's what makes it a little bit more. For me, it makes it even a little bit more interesting. Just makes it a little bit more interesting when I watch her because Robot said Crispy has shown us more. Yeah, Crispy's shown us more than Ernesta because they fought to get to the Contender Series and it was a banger. It was a war. That was last year, right? No, it was like 2 years ago. It was like almost 2 years ago now. Her and Ernesta fought. She lost by a split decision, but she still got signed. That's how well she did. Dana liked her heart. Dana liked her action that she was putting in. And, she came through. Yeah, BJ said her striking looked good. Yeah, she's improving. Like, it looked better than that fight. Like, that fight was more like a war. It was just like a war. But this one here was more of a clinic. And that's what I want to see. I want to see some educated punching here and educated striking. And she did that. So she loses her first fight, close fight against Gabriela Fernandez. And you know what? We all not Gabriela Fernandez, but Gabriela Fernandez, man, shoot. Gabriela Fernandez is underrated. We got to talk about her one day. Like, I think Gabriela Fernandez is still going to be a problem at some point. Gabriela only lost to 2 grapplers, Jasmine and Blada. But Jasmine, she beats she got a win over Carli and she got a win over Wayne Kong. But Carli, man, like her last two fights off of her hands, off her striking game. That first fight, I did kind of lean towards Dubin in that fight because I thought Dubin had like the power and like the precision, and I thought that Carli was going to run into a punch. I thought she was going to run in for that type of war. But nah, man, like that's where she showed improvement in just two fights. She just showed that in two fights, and she goes in there and knocks out Dubin with a head kick. It just came with calculation. So I was like, all right, I see her. In this fight, serious body shot. So this girl can knock you out in any way, whether it's hands, head kick, or body shot. So we talk about Dakota, but we got another young lady right here that she might not have the undefeated record, but in only 7 fights, I'm seeing a danger already because of the improvements in who she's surrounding herself with. So some fighters develop faster. Some fighters can soak it in, and I think she's one of those fighters, man. Like I think she's kind of soaking it in, and she's growing fast. Now that doesn't mean she'll need a rush, but I think she would look good against. Give her. Oh, shout out to Burt MMA. I know he posted that up. He said Juju. Oh man, I think she. He put a matchmaking up. He put a matchmaking up of Carli Judice versus Juliana Miller, and man, I think Carli would have fun with that fight. I think Carli would probably put her out, man. I'm serious, man. I'm just saying, like Juju was tough, but I think Carli Judice, man, I think that kind of style would play right into her power and her precision. Eduardo Mora, that'd be a good fight. Eduardo Mora, that's a good fight. Who else? No. Veronica Hardy, that would be a good striking fight. That would be a good stand-up fight. Now that's a fight. Carli Judice versus Veronica Hardy. That would be a good stand-up fight. Like she beat her last two opponents, her and Veronica Hardy. If she wins that fight and she wins it in dominant fashion, then give her a ranked opponent. Then you could give her a ranked opponent. That would be solid to me. Yeah, I think her and Carli, Veronica and Carli, that would be an interesting matchup. Gary said Casey O'Neill. That's not a bad fight either. I mean, yeah, if she wants to shoot for the rankings, and they give her that fight, that's a good one too. She has pretty good takedown defense though, Ermite. Like, yeah, I think her ground game will need to be tested. It does need to be tested, but as far as how she like stops these takedowns, give her another grappler, either grappler, striker. I think, yeah, give her somebody that tries to take her down. I think, her takedown defense is solid like that. Yeah, I like what I'm seeing though. Like we can still, just take our time and just move a little slow, of course, and watch her go through the right fights. But if she continues to stop these opponents, because let's see, she stopped her first opponent in Cage Warriors, stopped her next two opponents, all by, strikes. And then she lost the Contender Series fight. Scott signed, lost the fight, UFC Fight Night fight to Gabby. Both split decisions too. So I let you know this girl's tough. Then when you see her jump right back in there, knocks Dubin out, then knocks Cagliari out. Yeah. So yeah, man, she's got some. She definitely got some potential. Like I said, I ain't overhyping. I'm definitely not overhyping, but I like what I see right now, and I want to see her fight the people around her. But I think she beats a lot of the people around her. But we just got to see it proven. Carli versus Wayne Kong is something I want to see one day. Not right now, but one day. Yeah, Gabby said Crispy has potential. She used to fight at 135, and she actually looks good at this weight. Like this definitely fits her too. You know, she's really lean. Some things about her kind of reminded me of Joanna. Maybe the way she was just like pumping some of her strikes out. Yeah, give her Juju. I think she was supposed to fight her before. Yeah, they were. They were actually scheduled to fight before. I think Juju got injured or something like that. Axel said, I think Carli will beat Juju if that happens. Yeah, that fight was supposed to be scheduled, I want to say back in February. Because, hold on, I remember seeing something like that when Judice was supposed to come back and Juju was going to come back. Then all of a sudden it was gone. And then Juju came back and fought. Yeah, it was back in February. They were supposed to fight back in February of this year. Yeah, I remember at the beginning of the year that fight was supposed to happen, but she had to cancel. Then she went and fought Petrovic, which I think Petrovic at the time kind of fit her style. But yeah, it might be a tough one now. Whew, I could see her lighting her up this time. Gabby says someone commented we might not have Dakota, but we have Judice in the UFC. Yeah, yeah, that's true. Like we got her right now, and you know the thing is, we got somebody that's knocking people out, you know, entertaining, and she's strong. She's using her length, and you know she's already in here fighting UFC quality opponents. You know, so we already seeing that now, minus Dakota. So that's why I said we're not losing as fans. We're not losing, and I think by the time Dakota gets there, we'll have a polished Carli up there, and who knows, man? Like I'm not jumping the gun, but with her here now, and she's already polished by being in the UFC and fighting at this level, and she's already, you know, experienced being humble. I mean, she's got losses on her record. You never know, man. Like Judice might have that style to nullify Dakota one day. I'm just saying, like, that's what I'm saying. That's what she's up against. That's what Dakota's still gonna be up against when she gets to the UFC. That's why I'm saying we still gotta wait. You know, we still gotta wait before we say Dakota's ready for Valentina, because there's girls like this that have certain skills and styles. The more she nurtures her style, Carli, she'll have the fundamentals to know how to handle somebody like Dakota, or vice versa. I'm just saying, like that's why I like the flyweight division, because it's still thriving on these different levels. And if she continues to grow, you're gonna have to keep your eye on her as well, because she's stopping takedowns, she's clinching up, she's strong. Her jab is on point. I mean, she's using the jab, and she can take a punch. We know this girl can fight. She can take a punch. I mean, you don't want to take too many, but she knows how to go back on the defense and get out of harm's way. So, yeah. 2B at 100% finish rate in her wins. You can't complain. Nope. Yeah, I definitely think that fight with her and Juju, if they reschedule that, I would favor Carli Judice at this point. And if Juju would get it to the ground, maybe that'd be a moment you could see her get tested. Judice versus Bruna or Hardy. I think the UFC should give her more unranked fighters. That's the fight I was just saying. I think Bruno Brazil's got a fight, but yeah, the Hardy fight, yeah, that's definitely a fight I want. I was just saying that. Yeah, I want the Hardy fight. Hardy fight. Um, who was the other girl I said? Hardy. Yeah, Hardy Juju. Because yeah, she's only got 7 fights. Oh no, not Shauna. Yeah, Shauna Bannon is about to fight Sam Hughes in a few weeks in August. And Shauna Bannon is a strawweight, right? They won't make that fight happen. They ain't gonna make that fight happen. I know she don't want to move up and fight. But yeah, man. Just got to give this girl some credit. I'm gonna keep an eye on her. I'm gonna definitely tune into her next fight. And if she get another finish like this, man, the last two been crazy. So let's keep it going. I mean, even if she don't get a finish, but if she go in there and knock out her next knock her next opponent around and dominate 30-27, hey, we'll have to start a new threat list here, maybe. Maybe. Yeah, Bleda and Judice could happen. That's a fight that could happen too. It could definitely happen because Bleda will need an opponent here pretty soon. Uh, I'm not sure how far she is from her staph infection, but she looked like she was back into training. I'm not sure like the healing process here of it, but ooh, that's a fight right there. Bleda, she's a grappler too, so she can get some takedowns. So she'll be a tough fight. That'll be a tough fight as far as testing her takedown defense and even her ground game for Carli. He said Dakota resigning the PFL rubs me the wrong way. Why? Yeah, why does it rub you the wrong way? I mean, we knew. Hey, we didn't. Hey, I knew she wasn't coming to the UFC yet. She was not coming yet, man. Does it disappoint you as a Dakota fan, though? For me, we already talked about it, but it doesn't disappoint me. Doesn't disappoint me at all. Well, let me say it doesn't. I would like to see it. Like I'm somewhat disappointed, but not like where I'm ready to throw her out and not be a fan. Actually, I'm a growing fan. Like everybody else, they came in loving her already. Like I just had to see some things first, and now I'm a growing fan of Dakota. I'm definitely a fan of her fighting style. Me as a striking fan. I like it, but um, I didn't really go in here with that big hope. Like, oh, after she thrashes Dakota, she's gonna say, "I'm going to the UFC." You know what I'm saying? Like we knew that wasn't gonna happen. So everybody else holding her to this high standard, like she gonna give y'all what y'all want right away. But I'm like, nah, y'all gonna have to settle with the knocking out of the lesser opponents for now. And then later on, somewhere down the line, like when she does another 5 years, like Kayla Harrison, then she'll give you the UFC. Possibly when Valentina gone, right? Yeah, you never know. Like Valentina might be gone. Manon might be up at 135 by the time she get there. Natalia might be champion by then. So even in the division gonna be thriving, but I don't think you ever gonna get your Valentina fight. I don't think you ever gonna get that Valentina fight. I'm just saying, people gonna get mad at me. I'm sorry. BJ said, being a big name from a different promotion, you don't get an easy fight coming into the UFC. And that's what everybody said, right? That's what we say. You a big name, you coming into the top 10. You coming straight into the top 10. Easy said she really has nothing left to prove in PFL. Maybe she's looking to make another easy check before she leaves. I mean, that's it. That's it. That's all she's doing right now. I mean, in that Liz Carmouche fight, she wants that Liz Carmouche fight, and that's it. She wants that Liz Carmouche fight in the money. And hey, that's it. I mean, hey, let her get her money. And here I am now. I'm the one siding with Dakota on this choice because hey, get your money. Get the money. I didn't expect her to go. I didn't expect her to go. She tried to challenge herself easy. She drew the Samiko Inaba fight out. Right? She did draw out the Samiko Inaba fight. She gave herself 3 rounds. She did challenge herself, try some different things in there. Dave said Dana like to humble the big names. He has been burnt before. Yeah. We didn't think we would get Amanda versus Kayla either. Yeah. Well, no, I thought so. No, BJ. We did think we'd get that at some point because when Chris Cyborg came over to PFL, Kayla went over to the UFC, and we all knew Amanda ain't gonna stay retired. Ain't no fighter gonna stay retired. I knew Amanda wasn't done. Like when Amanda said, "Oh, she done after that Rena Aldana fight," I was like, "Watch this." She was just waiting for the moment, and boom, there she comes. I think if when Valentina stay gone, she gonna stay gone. It's different. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now that Dakota has a UD, I saw PFL go gals with 1-0 records confident they would finish her. That's actually not her first unanimous decision. I mean, everybody said now that she has a UD. I mean, uh, that's her second, right? Remember the Paula fight? That Paula fight was she has two decisions now. She's 15-0 with 13 finishes. So they should already see that. I mean, it don't mean they can beat her. It'll just mean it don't mean they could beat her, but it mean they could just take her punch maybe if they got a chin and if they can move. All right, so also, yeah, another fighter we got to look out for in the flyweight, excuse me, in the strawweight division, we got Fatima Klein, right? We still got Fatima Klein. She scored a big knockout to open the card the previous weekend. Carli scored her knockout this past weekend. So, you got some fighters in here working on their game. Like Klein is always improving. She's always changing things up. I like how she's not just dependent on her grappling. Like she couldn't get the fight down to the ground, but she continued to strike. She continued to throw kicks. She continued to throw, body kicks, leg kicks throughout this fight until finally she scored a head kick on a striker. And when I saw that, man, I was like, "Oh, Melissa Martinez, dang girl, you supposed to be in there countering, but here you got set up." But that's the thing, man. Like she just didn't have like the respect game going. Like Melissa Martinez could not get Fatima Klein's respect, as a boxer and a striker. She needed those openings, man, but she just could not find it. And boom, she spent the night moving her too much moving on her own, and she gets knocked out. I almost thought she would have got I thought she would have got submitted, but no, like that just shows you, yeah, Klein is on her game when it comes to plan A's and plan B's. She just don't go in there and keep on trying to look for the same thing. Like she tried to get the fight to the ground. Like I know she was looking for it a couple of times. Melissa Martinez spun out and tried to get her to, she spun out and she couldn't get it. So Klein went to the next thing, just perfected striking, and there it is. So I want to see her continue to work. I saw Henry Cejudo post up saying that Fatima Klein would be champion by 2027. I don't know if she's champion by 2027, but I could definitely see her winning the belt. I could definitely see her being a strawweight champion here. Like I don't see any rest in this girl when it comes to chilling out or being comfortable. Like she gonna fight for the belt one day. I'll say that. I can't jump to like what year she'll be champion or if she will, but she will fight for the belt. I see Klein fighting for the belt. Even if she runs into some old heads, I think by the time she gets to some of the old heads, like if they're still around, like a Jan Xiaonan or Amanda Lemos, I think she'll have the game to stand up to those girls. I do. BJ says she got to beat Robertson though. Shoot, there's a number of girls she's gonna have to match up in there with, but I think she'll be ready. I think she'll be ready. Thing is about her, like she ain't, she ain't playing. Like she really ain't playing. Like I don't see her taking no breaks and acting a fool. Klein's got it. Klein's got this. She got this work ethic about her. And to be honest, man, yeah, like with her striking and her grappling, I think G Rob gonna have some trouble with this one. I think G Rob gonna have some trouble with this fight. I don't know, Gary, if she needs a ranked opponent yet. Oh yeah, Karolina Kowalkiewicz. She's fighting. Karolina Kowalkiewicz has got a fight coming up again, man. Who is she fighting? Hang on, because I was gonna say maybe they should make them fight, but she's not even ranked anymore. But Karolina Kowalkiewicz is fighting. Dang it, they ain't even posted on here yet. Let me look on. Let me look here on. Loma Labutni and Alexia Thinera is fighting in September. Ooh, that should be a war right there. That should be a war. Hold on now. Somebody posted it. Carolina. Wait a minute. Unless somebody knows. Karolina Kowalkiewicz, who is she fighting? 1 second here. Karolina is fighting. Damn, I can't find it. I just saw it on Instagram. Yeah, man. Hold on. Yeah, man. Loma and Alexa Thinera, that's going to be crazy, man. Alexa Thinera got a ground game, too, so Loma got to be careful of that. Yep. Hold on. Nah, I can't find it. Yeah, Carolina Kowalkiewicz got to fight, but yeah, I think Fatima Klein. Let's see Fatima Klein maybe fight one more unranked fight by the end of this year, and then start off next year against somebody ranked. Yeah, Palostri. Yeah, Julia Palostri is who she's fighting next. Julia Palostri and Karolina Kowalkiewicz. That is the fight. I think Palostri might get a stoppage in that fight. If she stay aggressive in that, she could stop her in that fight. But yeah, I think that Klein, maybe give her one more ranked fight, and then next year start that path to like some ranked fighters. That's going to be something, man. I think Klein definitely has a lot going for her. And yeah, I'm definitely, if I gotta have a solo threat for 115, it's gonna be Klein here. If I see her run through one more girl, if I see her run through one more, right now she's probably the most promising, I would say, at strawweight. Like she's part of this new class that looks that part. So yeah. Oh yeah. Did y'all see this, Verna? Verna gonna cheat herself out of a title, man. Well, I'm gonna do a video on that and talk about that later. I'm gonna do that tonight because I got one more thing here to discuss. What y'all think about this? And this is gonna be quick. Want to see a video clip, y'all? Two beasts here, so I know he'll like to see this. Here you go.
Silva, I'm sorry, I just I miss your fight.
Valentina, it's okay that you don't know me now. The biggest problem will be you forget me when I beat you, baby.
All right, so Valentina, yeah, a little while back, she went on the Tough House, and they were talking about the flyweight division, and Valentina wasn't really familiar with any of those girls. Like, she's familiar, I guess, but not really watched their fight. So, Natalia, she's been bringing that up, and she posted that like a couple of days ago. Yeah, Natalia already throwing shots because she's like, hey, look, you don't know me, but you're going to know me after I beat you. So, good call out for Natalia. Make it known that you want your title shot. I think unlike Verna, she is trying to push herself. She is trying to push herself to get that title shot. She's boxing Whaley out, and that's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. Yeah, Stamina, she can speak English when it comes to I can beat you and Valentina. Those are the main words she knows. Champion, belt, whoop you, Valentina. Those are like the 4 or 5 words that she knows. Like those are the first 4 or 5 words that she learned for English, probably. But yeah, I think that Natalia Silva is not trying to start anything big. She just letting you know that, hey, I am a problem in this division right now, and I will be next. And again, like I said, she's in that same position like Manon was, but at this point, the way it's kind of coming to a head, she's trying to box out Whaley from trying to get in this situation. She's trying to stop her from even stop the UFC from entertaining it, which is important because when you have a fighter like Whaley who's got this star power, she's going to keep on and on and on until she gets that fight. And that's why I said, like, Verna went on Twitter and, Verna, she was like, who I want to fight UFC Rio and I'll fight for the belt, but who do you want to see me fight? And she gave 3 options to the fans. She was like, do y'all want to see me fight Whaley, Dern, or Suarez? I'm like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Just say, I want to fight Whaley in Rio. Don't entertain Suarez or Dern. I know Dern called her out, but don't entertain that fight. Like, you're going to make the UFC want to say, oh, okay, well, she don't want it that bad. Let's make Whaley versus Valentina. She gave us 2 other fights. Don't do that. Like, you got to go for the champion. Just say you want to fight Valentina next. Natalia, she just making it known, like, I'm on my streak and this is what I want. Right? That's what you got to do. So yeah.
Natalia Silva, I'm sorry, I just I miss your fight.
Valentina, it's okay that you don't know me now. The biggest problem will be you forget me when I beat you, baby.
Natalia Silva.
Yeah, it's just a situation where she wants to entertain. Because we all know Valentina, even if Valentina hasn't seen her fight, Valentina is going to prepare for it. Right? Valentina is low key. Yeah, Easy says she's lying sometimes. And even if she didn't, she's going to prepare, right? Like when it comes down to watching fights, when it's time, she'll do that. She's going to do that. She's going to have everything covered. Natalia, I think, yeah, like I said, on her end, she's feeling confident. She's ready. She's going to prepare. I am starting to just say, look, I want to see this fight most now. I really do want to see this fight. She's making it more entertaining. And just when I look at the style matchup, people might think it'll be boring, but not to me. I think it'll have its moments like Manon fight, where there'll be some shock type of strikes landing. But I think we'll be entertained for the hardcore fans. All right. But yeah, that's a fight that I think they might make probably the beginning of the year, maybe. What do y'all think? Y'all think we might get that fight in March? Or do y'all think they're still trying to flesh out a deal with Whaley? It all depends, man, because like I said, Verna need to be on her side doing her thing, but she need to narrow it down. She's not narrowing it down. She out there talking about, I want to fight for the belt, but I'll fight Suarez or Dern. No, man, just Whaley. Just call Whaley out. The same way Silva's just calling out Valentina. That's all you got to do. All right. But yeah, on that note, it was a solid weekend. I know this weekend we got Ricci and Ebos coming up. I'll save that for tomorrow on the WMMA mashup with BJ. So appreciate everybody coming through tonight, though. And for y'all that don't know, that's new, we doing another show tomorrow. My man BJ from No Filter MMA will be on at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. All right, because we still got a lot to say. I know he got a lot to say, and there's other things that we need to talk about. But yeah, Ebos and Ricci, we will discuss that tomorrow, because that's a fight that I'll save for tomorrow. Yeah, episode 11. Episode 11. We going down. We going down. Round 11. We are dropping it tomorrow. Round 11. Who y'all with? The red corner or the blue corner? Who's the red corner? BJ want to be the red corner. I'll be the blue corner. Who's the A side? Who's the B side? I don't care. As long as I get to fight. As long as I get to fight, that's all I care about. A side, B side. No filters, A side, combos, or B side. I don't care. I don't care. Who's the interim champion? Who's going to be the champion? Don't matter. As long as I'm standing by the end. But yeah, hit that like, y'all, and subscribe. Make sure y'all subscribe over to No Filter MMA. BJ Road to 1,000. That's what we calling it. Oh, man. Here's how we going to do, BJ. I'm going to switch it up. When you hit 1,000, I'm going to start back doing interviews. Shoot, I might even jump on camera. Well, I used to be on camera when I would do an interview, you know. Yeah, I might start putting I might jump on camera again, maybe for tomorrow's show. I'm going to put on my No Filter MMA shirt tomorrow. Yeah, BJ, I'm going to rock my shirt tomorrow. I'm going to be on camera. I'm going to rock the No Filter MMA shirt. Yeah, we getting there. Axel said, "Who's the referee?" Who want to be the referee here? Definitely not. What's his name? All right, BJ. Face reveal 2025. Oh man, come on! I've been on camera like 4 or 5 years ago. I just got relaxed where I don't really feel like jumping on, but BJ, look, Tamara said face reveal. BJ was on camera for his last interview too, right? Yeah. When was your last interview, BJ? Steve Garcia, right? 2B said he'll be the referee. All right. 2B's gonna wear his Herb Dean. He gonna wear his Herb Dean wig. I'm gonna get 2B's a Herb Dean wig. Hold on. Yeah, Steve Garcia. Yeah. We definitely get on camera for interviews. You know, I definitely get on for interviews. But yeah, let me get to No Filter MMA shirt. I just got it right here. Oh yeah, the combo shirt. Yeah, man, I need to start wearing my combo shirt. I don't even wear it like that. I need to. But yeah, man, we getting up out of here. Have a good night, Robot Chicken. Appreciate you for coming through. I see you, all of y'all. And yeah, man, this is where you're gonna find the WMMA talk, where we treat it more than a bathroom break. Same as No Filter MMA. You know, WMMA fights are so much more than getting up and getting your beer. You're missing out. That's all I gotta say is you're missing out. When you're getting up, you're missing out on a good fight. Whether it's a Dakota fight or a Priscilla Cachoeira fight, like Priscilla Cachoeira versus Josiane Nunes. You're missing out. You're missing out on stuff like that. On that note, let me close this window out here. This one and this one. And yeah, you're missing out heavy. Good night, everybody. People be like, who is Breaker Night? Who is Breaker Gang? Oh, you better tell them. He said he be wearing his. He said people be like, who's breaking? Hey, they better know. Yeah, only the real know. Only the real know. Shoot. Let me put that up on the post too, man. I'm about to put that shirt back up on the post. I think mine's hanging up in the closet right now. But yeah, I got the no filter shirt. I just pulled it out of the drawer there. Actually, I pulled it out like a week ago. Yeah, easy. You love to see the ladies finishing fights right now, man. I mean, you love to see these fights, man. For real. All right. There we go. So yeah, hit that like and subscribe and enjoy the rest of your night. And we are gonna hit y'all tomorrow hard. Hard tomorrow. I'm out. Peace.